Hey everyone, welcome back. You're tuned in to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a really game-changing concept from the book 12 Steps to a Good Life. We're going to dive into a completely revolutionary way to track, manage, and actually communicate chronic illness and pain. Honestly, if you, or maybe someone you love, has ever sat in a doctor's office and just felt completely misunderstood, well, this explainer is absolutely going to change how you approach those conversations.
So think about this for a second. How do we accurately measure an invisible, deeply subjective experience like pain? It's got to be one of the most frustrating things about chronic pain, right? Just the sheer difficulty of trying to explain that totally invisible burden to somebody else. Because pain is completely internal. When you're suffering, it's literally all you can feel. But the person sitting right across from you, yeah, even a highly trained medical professional, they just can't see it.
Section 1. The invisible struggle, chronic pain, and the stress cycle.
To really get why we need a new solution, consider this staggering fact. Between 15 and 20% of Americans are walking around carrying the hidden weight of chronic pain, and that causes an immense amount of psychological and physical stress. Look at this cycle right here. It brilliantly illustrates why chronic pain feels so impossible to escape. On the left side, we see that pain causes stress. Naturally, when you feel pain, you resist it. You just want it to end, and that resistance chips away at your peace of mind. But then, look at the trap on the right. Stress actually magnifies pain. Your stress tells your body to release adrenaline, and that adrenaline physically turns up the volume on the pain signals being sent to your brain. So your brain thinks the pain is worse, which causes you even more stress. It's just a brutal, vicious cycle.
Okay, so the crucial point here is how we're communicating this whole cycle to a doctor. You walk into a clinic, right? And they inevitably ask you to rate your pain on a scale of 1 to 10. You sit there and say, well, my pain is a 7. But what does that actually mean? A 7 for you might be a 4 for someone else. Relying solely on this abstract physical sensation scale completely fails to capture the true toll this pain is taking on your actual day-to-day life. It just leaves doctors guessing, and worse, leaves patients feeling unheard.
Section 2. The solution. Keeping a pain diary, tracking to find a workable treatment.
Look, when you're in pain, the absolute last thing you want to do is sit down and write about it. I get it. But building this specific habit is the practical way to regain your agency. The key here is the level of detail. You aren't just writing down, I hurt today. No, you're tracking exact data points, the date, the time, what you were eating or doing right before it flared up. You're noting the exact location, the type of pain, like is it sharp, is it a dull ache, how long it lasted, and what coping strategies actually worked for you. Documenting all of this, it moves the conversation with your doctor from these vague, subjective feelings to concrete, actionable patterns.
Section 3. The Lifestyle Impact Scale, Reframing the 0-10 Measurement.
Now here's the major paradigm shift. Instead of measuring just the physical sensation of pain, the author reframes this as a functional quality of life scale. It's brilliant. Let's walk through it. At the very bottom of the scale, we have 0. A 0 on the lifestyle impact scale means you are staying in bed all day long. You're feeling completely hopeless and helpless about life. There's basically no contact with the outside world. This is the absolute most severe impact on your functioning.
Let's move up the scale a bit. Contrast that 0 with the 3. A level 3 is a day where, okay, you can get out of bed and get dressed, but you only manage minimal activities at home. You aren't leaving the house, you certainly aren't working, but you are out of bed and at least trying to navigate basic home life. Jumping up to a 6, we can really see how this builds. At a level 6, your daily functioning has improved enough that you can actually work or volunteer for limited hours. You might also be able to manage some limited social activities on the weekends. You're definitely still struggling for sure, but you are fulfilling some of those outside responsibilities.
Now, pay attention to this one, because this is a really crucial benchmark, an 8. An 8 means the patient has the functionality to work or volunteer for at least 6 hours daily. You're active. You have the actual stamina to participate in the world for the majority of the day and be active on your weekends.
And finally, we conclude the scale with a 10. A 10 represents a total return to normal daily activities. You're active for 8 hours a day, taking part in family life and maintaining an active social life. Think about how much more useful this scale is. Telling your doctor, hey, I'm functioning at a 3 right now, paints a way clearer picture of your life than just saying, it hurts a lot.
Section 4. Working with your doctor, becoming an active participant.
Switching to this functional scale changes everything. When you combine your detailed pain diary with this lifestyle scale, you are no longer just a passive recipient of medical care. You're a partner showing up with solid, usable data. So here's how the text suggests you prepare for your next medical appointment. First, share your diary data. Literally show them the patterns you found. Second, do your own homework on your symptoms and potential therapies. Third, maintain the physical health factors you actually can control. Stuff like drinking water, eating a nutritious diet, and getting plenty of sleep. And fourth, look for chronic pain support groups. The text points out these are incredible resources for reducing that sense of isolation and gathering really practical, lived-in information.
All right, now we have to talk about bridging the gap between physical treatment and psychological management. Look at this quote from the text. We know that positive or negative emotions can influence the experience of pain. Now, if you firmly believe your pain is purely a physical issue and ignore the mind, it actually decreases your chances of getting better. But recognizing that your thoughts directly affect your physical experience of pain, that is a superpower.
And we can wield that superpower by tackling what we call automatic negative thoughts, or ANTs. Over on the left, we see an unhelpful thought, my life is ruined, or I'm totally fragile. Believing this spikes your stress, which, as we learned a few minutes ago, literally magnifies the pain signals in your body. The text also warns us against excessive rest, by the way, which can cause muscles to atrophy and actually make the pain worse in the long run. Now, on the right side, we have a helpful, realistic thought. I can influence how I feel. Reducing your stress through helpful thoughts, along with safe doctor-approved movement, actually dampens those pain signals in your brain.
So, I want to leave you with this question to chew on. How will you reevaluate your own daily functioning before your next doctor's appointment? Seriously, it's time to ditch the old 1 to 10 sensation scale. It's time to start tracking your triggers, measuring your true quality of life, and taking control of your own narrative. Start your pain diary today. Change the conversation with your doctor and reclaim your agency. Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer today, and keep learning.